Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Transforming Quadratic Functions. I believe we're going to put these notes on page 35, but we'll verify that in a little while. Go ahead and copy these notes down. Transforming Quadratic Functions. Don't forget you can pause or rewind at any time, ladies and gentlemen. Right now, pictured right here is the parent graph of y equals x squared. It's called a parabola or a quadratic function. The vertex is at 0, 0. The domain for all quadratic functions is all real numbers. The range for this is going to be y is greater than or equal to 0 because 0 is the lowest point on this graph. And the line of symmetry, the line that cuts this graph in half, is x equals 0. Ladies and gentlemen, just like we did with the absolute value, we're going to move these things left, right, up, and down. We're going to flip them, and then we're going to do different combinations of stuff. So please follow along as we do these on your notes. Here's example number 1. Feel free to pause and rewind. We're going to transform by shifting a graph up. And this is going to be y equals x squared plus 3. So what does that look like when we shift this graph up 3 units? Well, I'm going to take my marker and I'm going to shift this graph up 3 units, which means I'm going to go up 1, 2, 3. I'm going to put a dot. And now, ladies and gentlemen, what I'm going to do is I'm going to draw another quadratic, just like that. Okay? That shift the graph up 3 units. The domain is still all real numbers because all quadratics have all real numbers for the domain. The range this time, however, is going to be y is greater than or equal to 3. Because we shifted it up 3 units, the lowest point now is at 3. All right. Now, ladies and gentlemen, let's go ahead and look at this next example. Feel free to pause it, rewind the video if you need to. All right. We're going to shift a graph down. And the way we're going to shift the graph down is by putting the minus 5 there. Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to go down 5 units. So I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, put a dot. And we're going to draw the quadratic or the parabola shape. Sorry. Just like this. Okay. It's shifted down 5 units. And the domain, again, still going to be all real numbers. And the range, I'm sorry, not or, but the range is going to be y is greater than or equal to -5. -5 is the lowest point on this graph, so we're going to get everything -5 and bigger. All right. Ladies and gentlemen, let's look at the next example. We're going to shift the graph right. To shift a graph right, we're going to have -4 inside the parentheses. Okay, it's going to take this graph here and shift it to the right 4 units. 1, 2, 3, 4, and we're going to put a dot right there. And then I'm going to draw the quadratic like that, and like that. The domain for this, ladies and gentlemen, still going to be all real numbers. Notice that every quadratic has the same domain. And the range, ladies and gentlemen, is going to be y is greater than or equal to 0. Still, we just shifted it left. We didn't move it up or down, so the lowest y value is still going to be 0. All right. Let's go to the next one, shifting things to the left. All right, 5. So we're going to shift things to the left 5. So we're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, put a dot. And now, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to draw a parabola or quadratic. Write down the domain. Write down the range. If you said all real numbers, great job. If you said y is going to be greater than or equal to 0, awesome. So you're saying, hey, that's a plus. Why didn't it go to the right? Inside the parentheses, you always do the opposite of what you think, okay? Go ahead and graph this one. It's going to flip our graph upside down. So here we go. That's what this graph looks like, ladies and gentlemen. The domain is still going to be all real numbers. The range this time is going to change. Whenever we flip the graph, it no longer has a minimum point. It actually has a maximum point. And the highest that this graph goes is 0. So y is going to be less than or equal to 0 this time. Notice that we had to change it to less than or equal to because we flipped the graph upside down. All right, the next couple of graphs, ladies and gentlemen, I want you to pause the video and then graph it. Give me the domain and the range, then unpause it and see if you got it right. If you didn't, just redraw it. Go ahead. All right. Hopefully you paused the video, ladies and gentlemen. And here's what's going to happen. This graph is going to be moving to the right 3 units, and it's going to go down 4 units. Notice there's no negative in the front, so there is no flip. All right, so let's go ahead and do this. Ready? I'm going to go to the, I'm going to go to the right 3. So 1, 2, 3. I'm going to go down 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. I did have a student ask me if we had to go up or down or left or right first. It doesn't matter. As long as you do it the correct way, it doesn't matter. All right, and then we're going to go ahead and draw our quadratic. The domain, which I'm just going to put D for right now, and the range, all real numbers, and the range, well, the lowest this graph goes is negative 4. So y is going to be greater than or equal to negative 4. All right. Now, pause the video, graph it, give me the domain and the range. Here we go. This graph is going to get flipped. We're going to go to the left 6, and we're going to go up 2. So you could do that in any order that you want to. I like to find the vertex first. So the vertex is going to be at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, up 2, put a dot. Since it's flipped, it's not going to open upward, it's going to open downward. So there's our vertex right there. Let me erase that little piece because it looks funky. All right. Let's write the domain. Oops. Let's write the domain. Let's write the domain, all real numbers. Oops. All real numbers. And the range is going to be y is less than or equal to 2, because the highest it goes is 2. One of the things I've been leaving out is the line of symmetry and the vertex. Well, we'll work on that in class because you all will have a gallery walk to do that on. All right. I think I have another example for y'all real quick. Go ahead. Pause the video. And here we go. Ladies and gentlemen, this graph is going to flip because of that negative, and it's going to go up 6 units. That's it. It doesn't go left or right. So let's flip the graph and go up 6. So ready? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Put a dot. And flip the parabola upside down. This is what the graph looks like. Let's give the domain, and let's do the range. I hope you wrote all real numbers for the domain, because all of them are all real numbers. And the range is going to be where y is going to be less than or equal to 6. Okay? Let's do this one right here. Pause the video. and then go ahead and give me the domain and the range. Here we go. Ladies and gentlemen, this graph not only does a flip, but it goes to the left 3. So let's go left 3, put a dot, and then we're going to flip it. So it's going to go, and that's what this graph looks like. Let's look at the domain and the range. The domain, ladies and gentlemen, is all real numbers, and the range, the highest that this graph goes is 0. So it's going to be less than or equal to 0. Okay. That's it for the notes, ladies and gentlemen. I hope that this was informative, and I hope that you realize this is just like the absolute value stuff, only we have a nice little U-shaped graph instead of a V-shaped graph. Alright, like and subscribe to my channel, and we'll talk about some homework when you get into class.